this country is at war with Germany.
On the 3rd of September 1939, Britain declared war on Germany. Even before then, it was known that Southampton would be at the forefront of attacks. In January that year, the author Neville Shute penned a novel in which Southampton was the target for enemy action. The town was at the centre of aircraft manufacture in the supermarine Spitfire, and annually 20,000 tons of shipping passed through the docks. Air raid shelters were hastily constructed, and many of the ancient medieval vaults were converted into shelters. The declaration of war was followed by a period called the Phony War, when life almost went on as normal, but this ended with the evacuation of Dunkirk in the early summer of 1940, which paved the way for the Nazi occupation of France, which put Southampton within bombing range of the dreaded Luftwaffe. The first bombs fell on Southampton on the night of June the 19th, 1940, and 2 months later, a huge refrigerated warehouse called the Cold Store was hit, burning for 9 days. For Southampton residents who lived through the Blitz, the smell of melted butter and margarine permeating through the streets of the town became an indelible memory. More raids followed, including on the supermarine factory in Woolston, which was eventually put out of action on the 26th of September. In November, the town centre began to be hit. On the 6th, the Civic Centre School of Art was hit with a £500 bomb, which killed 35 people, including over a dozen schoolgirls. The town sustained huge devastation over 3 nighttime raids on 23rd of November, 30th of November and 1st of December, when heavy formations bombed the whole town. First, flares were dropped, followed by thousands of incendiaries, and then by high explosive bombs dropped at intervals for a number of hours. Over the course of the 3 raids, 200 people died, and many of the distinctive landmarks were wiped from Southampton. In the following year, there were a succession of other raids, which targeted the town's homes and industries. As the war progressed, the threat of an imminent invasion retreated, but the town still saw sporadic attacks, the last heavy raid taking place on the 22nd of June 1942, when over 35 people were killed. The last recorded air raid on Southampton took place a few weeks after D-Day, in the early hours of 15th of July 1944, when a V-1 Doodlebug landed on a military site. And so, as daybreak came and the wreckage of the Nazi war machine was cleared away, Southampton's air raids were at an end. In total, there had been over 60 instances of air raids on the town, and over 600 people died. 85 years on, it's important to remember the sacrifice of those who lived through that harrowing time, and to reflect on the impact it had on the Southampton of today.